Oh, yeah!
Connecting to the internet.
No one makes a fool out of me. Get a load of this.
There's only one real Sonic.
Greetings, and we're back. It's been quiet on the channel since we're all just waiting for the new Project 2017 to show their true colors, and it seems there's only 1 month waiting left until we finally get some new info. Makes sense, March has been the month where new Sonic projects get announced for a November release for a while. So welcome to the final month where we're still relatively naive about the future. 1 more month where our current delusional expectations are still half alive and half dead, like we're one of Schrodinger's poor pets or something. Now, I like setting myself up like a carnival target, presenting some predictions here because it's fun. To make things more interesting and all that. So hey, let's set up the context of what we think will happen, or hope, where we think it'll be going next month, and then be horribly, horribly disappointed. Or not. So, there are 3 games. Sonic Mania, Project 2017, and, well, considering this is an Aaron Webber panel, call it a hunch, but I think we may expect some Big Ticket Fishing Adventure 3 stuff coming up too. It seems those folk are still hard at work. Now, in the statement announcing the upcoming Sonic panel, it is mentioned that each of the new games will have a new piece of information revealed. Well, not Big's game, but you know. Now, for Project 2017, that's a no-brainer, because we don't really know anything about the damn game, including its name. For Sonic Mania, it's a bit more interesting, since that game seems to be pretty much straightforward and out in the open to me. A beefed-up Sonic 3 Knuckles game with new levels. And unlike Sonic Team proper, programmer Taxman doesn't seem the type to me to throw in endless fluff and distractions in the game. He seems to be a more focused fellow, so I'm not expecting any weird new additions like the race mode in Sonic 3 Knuckles had, even though that would have been cool. It could just be revealing more stages. It's been said that Mania had more levels than Generations, provided we're talking about the main Generations game, not the 7-zone 3DS one. There would be at least 10 zones, 3 have been revealed, so they might reveal 2 more, so they can keep half of the stages still a surprise. Possible. But if I had to make a prediction, I think a new future might be revealed. I'm expecting some sort of challenge mode. I don't know, the game is mostly made for gameplay fanatics obsessing over physics, and Sonic games being Sonic games, most people like me will just plow through the stages in full speed and be too wrapped up in the spectacle to really give a damn about all the tiny minute physics and gameplay touches the developers spent eternities obsessing over. So a Mega Man style challenge mode, referring to the modern retro games, to force the player in specific scenarios putting emphasis on specific gameplay elements seems the exact kind of thing they would do. Now, recently at our sister associate, the Sonic Adventure 3 Facebook page, there was a little drama again as Tyrant Era had some comments about Sonic Mania. While as usual the direct tone of it got people upset and missing the point, might still be interesting to address that point here anyway. So, Era was concerned about the lack of cinematic flair, spectacle, the fact the game's attention and marketing is entirely meta, game technically based, which he thinks might confuse or bore the audience outside of the specific hardcore physics fan crowd. Now, of course, that's on purpose. That's the exact type of environment and fan attention the game wants. Nevertheless, it will be interesting to see if a more traditional spectacle trailer or aspect of Mania will be shown off. After all, it's been said that Sonic Mania is supposed to represent the hypothetical game that would have existed if Sega actually had a big main 2D flagship Sonic game released on the Sega Saturn. That is, if that game wasn't an abstract experiment like Extreme would have been, or whatever a Saturn version of Sonic Adventure would have looked like. And of course a proper main Sonic game, even a 2D platformer, would have had a lot of fluff. We can see that with Sonic CD that has animated cutscenes, pop music, and voice acting. Sega usually wants to show off their shiny new system specs after all. It can be a proper Saturn era 2D platformer without a creepy 3D CGI intro. Every self-respecting mid-90s 2D platformer had one of those. Then again, I doubt a flagship system-selling Sonic game would be featuring Green Hill Zone so prominently. Kinda confusing marketing if you sell your brand new state-of-the-art system with the exact same imagery as an early game of the previous system already did. That'd be like if Mario Lost World with its NES graphics would be the Mario game for the Super Nintendo. Or if Nintendo would try to sell the Switch with mostly Wii U games, that'd be silly. Okay, semantics, I'm taking the metaphor too far. Honestly, I doubt any form of cinematic spectacle or context will be revealed. I expect the game to have, like, establishing context moments, like what Sonic 3 Knuckles did, setting up the zones and having little moments, but I don't think they'll be shown off during a trailer. because the game is aimed at people who scream and claw their eyes at the mere idea of anything that's not Turel emotionless set of physics and obstacle courses to bring game back into video games. Nostalgia motivations to overcome challenge, that's the only emotions allowed in this no stories allowed treehouse. It is what it is. Project 2017, that's where it's at for Sonic fans of our persuasion. Now, we know nothing about gameplay at all, except the heavy implications that it will be exactly like Generations, except it won't be. Okay, great. So yeah, I may assume some gameplay will be shown off, but there's very little to speculate about yet. The big question about Project 2017 is, to me at least, will the game operate on meta logic or genuine logic? That's the big question on my mind since the teaser starts off surprisingly straight. World in danger, Sonic's pissed off, action, whoa! Am I supposed to be invested in this? Actually allowed to care? Is that alright? Is that acceptable? Is it tolerated for me to be interested in what's going on? Are you sure? You sure you shouldn't shoot yourself in the foot immediately and self-sabotage yourself into your usual meta self-deprecations? So okay, it's an actual thing. For the first time in a very long time. That's shocking. But then there's Classic Sonic. Thing with Classic Sonic, one of the possible reasons why a lot of people, myself included, have a subconscious concern about Classic Sonic is that he implies it's going to operate on meta logic again. Cause, nothing wrong with Classic Sonic, but the thing is, everything about him is meta. It's in his damn name. Classic Sonic, not the younger Sonic. He doesn't talk cause he didn't in the games. He's 2D because he was in the games. He's happy cause he was in the games. Well, in the fake memories people are misremembering about the games anyway. And that's fine in Generations. Sonic Generations didn't try to have anything resembling a real narrative. It's entirely meta tropes strung together with some vague dimensions excuse. Because here you have Dr. Eggman having time-traveling powers to undo his mistakes from the past, so he uses that incredible ability to make Sonic go through Green Hill Zone again. Yeah. Sonic will be totally stunned by going through the easiest level again, but now with added life experience. Good thinking, egghead. You're not supposed to think about Generations. It's meta. And fine, whatever. It's a fun little celebration game. In fact, I kind of wish it didn't have any cutscenes at all. Should have been nothing but a pile of random levels. Any attempt to justify anything with story will just end in confusion and pointlessness. But Project 2017 seems to imply it has different priorities. So here, it's get a little more complicated. Tossing in this disconnected real-world logic into something we're supposed to actually care about is hinting there might be some style incompatibilities. Now, the thing is, my biggest concern for the new games is lack of consistency, lack of vision. This, to me, was Sonic Lost World's biggest problem. The game was a big pile of ideas that all suffocated each other. The game was constantly at war with itself. Both in tone, the Teletubby graphics, yet with dialogue as if the writing was for a sequel of Shadows game. In terms of story, setting up a plot about Sonic causing trouble with his rash decisions and then suddenly U-turning into a moral about trusting Tails. And gameplay, such as when they make Sonic super fast and sticking on walls to do cool parkour stuff, and then make the 2D level design entirely flat or claustrophobic. Or giving Sonic some cool ice skating moves, where you move extra fast and jump extra high, and it's dropped in a level that's claustrophobic and clouded with obstacles. Every aspect of the game is in constant war with itself, except maybe the music. So with that in mind, even though there's little to go on with Project 2017 yet, I'm worried I'm already seeing cracks in the window with the tone already punching itself in the face. So let's hope the upcoming new data will showcase a more clean and concise vision. That's going to be the #1 thing I'm on the lookout for. So, the third character, Dead Enigma. It's revealed we'll get a new character. Now, personally, I don't think it will be a full new character. I think it'll be a different incarnation for Sonic. Mostly for symmetry reasons. There's something weird about having 2 Sonics and 1 new guy. Flimsy reason, I know, but that's what my gut says, and I got a lot of guts, so I gotta listen. And then the question is meta or narrative logic? Internal or external logic, as I called it before in a previous video. If the game will operate on meta, external logic will get either Boom Sonic, as implied by the tons of promotional material we got, or Adventure Sonic, as based on cancelled ID from Generations. Boom Sonic has the aesthetic advantage, looking genuinely different, but in terms of tone and writing is nearly the same as modern Sonic. Adventure Sonic looks roughly the same, but has an entirely different tone to it. Based on that, Boom Sonic is the most likely, as I don't think the writing staff has enough self-awareness to be even aware of the tonal and writing differences. The difference between tonal styles seems to come from the result of incompetence in writing more so than a deliberate decision for change, so that makes it harder for them to know what's up. If we would get an Adventure Sonic, I have a feeling it would be basically what Sonic was like in LEGO Dimensions. Basically modern Sonic, except saying Sonic Adventure quotes like their catchphrases from a damn sitcom. However, that's not my predictions, and what I think. I really doubt it'll be Adventure Sonic. Maybe Boom Sonic, although I think even if it was Boom Sonic at an earlier stage in development, Sonic Team might have taken a U-turn on that, and based on Boom Sonic's lack of video game success. What I'm secretly hoping for is that the third Sonic isn't based on external meta logic, but narrative logic, internal logic. As in, if this game is about time travel as implied by classic Sonic, maybe this third Sonic is like a version we never saw from an alternative timeline. Thinking of Doctor Who with their War Doctor. Rest in peace, John Hurt. Because every self-respecting time travel story has a darker alternative timeline where things went wrong. What if we would get an Apocalypse Max Sonic from a timeline where shit went wrong? Almost like a Sonic that's merged with Silver and Shadow. Now, I can already hear a large group of Sonic fans freak out in anger. Dark and edgy! No! Cringe! Sonic's a happy cartoon where everyone is friends and everyone is happy, and Eggman's a happy fellow who created the Hugs and Cuddles egg to make everyone feel loved and understood. It's a cartoon. Talking animals cartoons are always fluffy and happy. So, might be that Sonic Team won't do it out of fear for that reaction. Then again, so far the teaser seems to point to a darker direction, so who knows. So yeah, predictions! I'm sure we'll see gameplay in action. So far it sounds like it's gonna be exactly like Sonic Generations, except with a third gameplay included. So with Generations we had 2D, 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 and 2D with hints of 3D in the Generations game. Maybe this time we're lucky and get one gameplay type that's actually 3D. And will probably be gimmicky as hell and bring in elements everyone will be annoyed by. Because Sonic Team, baby! And that'll ruin 3D's reputation again, so we can strap ourselves in for more 2D side-scrolling games for the next decades, while all critics remain in the eternal limbo where they're convinced Sonic is non-stop Sonic 06 clones, and every 2D game is a breath of fresh air, returning to the roots or whatever. Of course, being stuck in the past is the big theme with Sonic these days. We'll get our first glimpse of the third new character, and I take new with a grain of salt. So not new, but more same character but with a new twists. Because when Sonic Team says stuff, I usually suspect they're playing semantics and you can take their statements on a very literal level. But yeah, so, one more month, and well, tiny tidbits will be revealed. For Sonic Mania, probably won't matter much. I'm sure everyone already has more than enough information about that project to make up their own mind whether it's good or not. But Project 2017 still has a lot to prove. So, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments so I can point and laugh at you for being wrong, to recover my ego from my own failed predictions. See ya.